Thank you. So I want to go into a topic that I think is quite important in raising money. You've heard a lot on these last few days on pitching. You actually heard a lot of pitches today. And you've heard a lot about the process and what you should do and how you approach investors. And there's been a lot of detail on that. But I think the psychology of raising money has been lacking. So that has something that you have not heard about. And I think it's as important as any of the other aspects. And to help me in this here, we have Toby Koppel from Mosaic Ventures. He's a VC. So I'm kind of representing the entrepreneur side on this. I'm going to talk about how entrepreneurs think about the psychology. He's going to look at the VC side of the psychology. And just a little context, I've actually raised probably over $150 million in my career. I've been doing startups for 20 years. So, and I hate to disappoint all the entrepreneurs out there, but you're always raising money. And so you're constantly raising money. So I think it's important to think about how you position yourself, i.e. the psychology. And to start with this, a well-known VC quite a few years ago gave me a script. He said, when you go raise money, this is what you should do. Now, I'm not advocating this script, but it's a very interesting script on how you should raise money. So I'm going to read the script to you. So when talking to VCs, it is important to be yourself, but be yourself as a hot chick. You are the hot chick at the party. Everyone wants to date the hot chick. This doesn't mean you're a jerk. VC should feel that you like and respect them, that you're a good person and you would treat them well, but you are also very much in demand, and you don't need them, any of them. You are a hot chick. So what are the tactics of a hot chick company? What do you do if you're a hot chick? First, don't ever respond too quickly to any emails from a VC. No matter how much you like them, do this throughout the process. Resist the urge to be too responsive. Always let at least 3 hours go by before you respond to a note from a VC. And sometimes wait 12 hours, unless there's a real reason it needs to be responded to earlier. Next tip. Don't send thank you notes post your meetings. And please God, don't send notes that summarize post-meeting the key selling points for your company. Ever. Oops. Ever. And don't ask at the end of the meeting what the next steps are. Ever. And don't proactively tell them when you'll be in town next or when you are available. Well, unless they ask. More details. Don't spend more than 75 minutes in a first meeting with a VC firm. Tell them you have to go, even if you don't have to. If you don't hear from a VC firm for several days after the meeting with specific next steps from them, they are not interested. That's fine. Remove them from your list and insert other names. Don't send them a follow-up note. Move on. When it is clear that a firm is leaning in, they like you, and you are deeper in the process with them, do tell them that you like them. And that even though you have a lot of interest in the round, you are positive on that person and firm, and state the reasons why. Investors want to feel that the hot chick could get anyone she wants, but she, for good reasons, admires, appreciates the many positive qualities in them. A couple more specifics for you guys. Have the supporting data together that you expect people will ask for. Be prepared for all that stuff so that you can provide it when asked. Don't send it right away when it's requested. Send it to them 1 to 2 days after they ask for it. That will reinforce that you are probably talking to others who are interested in you and who have asked for the same data. Don't scramble to pull together every piece of data just because someone asked for it. Send them about 80% of the stuff that you have easiest access to, and let them know that you'll see if you can get the other stuff, but aren't sure because you have a ton of stuff going on, and this is the same exact data that you're giving everybody else. Be consistent through the process. be professional, but remember, you are the hot chick. So Toby never heard that before, so I'm going to see his reaction.
You have it summed up down to a T. What can I say?
Is a strategy of being kind of hard to get. And I think the important thing here, I didn't follow this strategy, by the way. I took some points from it, but it was really one of these things like, wow, that's aggressive. And the feeling I have is that it's not about hype if you're out there pitching. It's not about ego. It's not about lying or creating tricks or anything like that. But there is a psychology. There's a total psychology when you are out there raising money. And I think people forget that. They don't think about how they position themselves out there. And being a Finn, actually, I'll say, I think Finns are very direct, and they just say, well, if they like me, they like me. If they don't, they don't. No, there's a game that goes on. So think about dating. There is a game that's happening there when you are raising money. And so I think that's the main point of this, is to think about what game you're playing and how you're going to play that game, and with the end result, obviously, of getting the VC you want to give you the money you want. Toby.
It worked twice with me. I invested in Mika's company in 1998, his first one, and then I'm also an investor in CreativeLive, so your strategy clearly worked. I didn't make a lot of money on the first one, so I'm hoping that the second one will do better. VCs are very competitive, and another way to say that is if they think their competitors are looking at something very seriously, then they'll be very interested. You can say that that's sort of, they act like sheep, and I wouldn't disagree with you, that often you do find that. There are some VCs that will say that they're independent thinkers and that they don't care what other people say, but I think most of the folks out there, if they understand that you're talking to a lot of the smartest folks in the industry, then I think you'll get them interested. So I think Mika's strategy is right on.
That wasn't my strategy, so I'm distancing myself a little bit from it. But the other thing is that I do think is important is to really understand the VCs you're pitching. So either through back channels or whatever way you can, you should know what they're like, what their psychology is like, and how they play the game, so that you can match your approach to the VCs you're talking to. I think that's a very important part of it.
Yeah, and I thought I'd share with you a few thoughts on how to sort of eliminate VCs from your list, how to sort of identify the bad ones. So here's a few. One, if they get up to the whiteboard within 10 minutes of your presentation and they start explaining your business to you and the things you're doing right and wrong, clearly it's the wrong person. You need a VC who's going to listen to you, actually try to understand, because you know far more about your business than they do. Secondly, if they spend the whole meeting trying to convince you how brilliant they are, clearly the wrong VC for you. VCs will never know as much about your business as you will. They're basically a checkbook with a smile, hopefully, and a brain, perhaps. But you should be the smartest person in the room about your business. I would say, third thing is if they spend their time talking about the fact that their firm did Google 10 years ago or Facebook 5 years ago, or the fact is that was one of their partners who may even have retired, and it's really irrelevant. It's the question is, who's the person in the room in front of you? How much do they understand your business? Are they asking good questions? Can they be a good thought partner? And I think entrepreneurs don't always understand that. Next one, I would say no name dropping, period. If you hear one name in the meeting, you know this person's spending their time thinking about the wrong things. A couple more, just value add. VCs will spend a lot of the meeting talking to you about how much value add they offer. I think fundamentally we're money. Money, as I said, with a smile. And I think the best thing most VCs can do with good entrepreneurs is to get out of the way. And when an entrepreneur needs to ask for some help, whether it's introductions to other great follow-on investors, it's to help to recruit somebody, then that's fantastic. But I think mostly you should look at us as money. The last couple of things, I think VCs have some terrible traits about being late for meetings. If we agree to go to a meeting and we show up late, we're being completely disrespectful to you, and that's unacceptable. I would not consider that VC seriously. And then VCs who take out their phones and do emails and text in the room with you. I think that's obnoxious, and again shows the lack of respect. So I think those are some tips on how to sort of filter out hopefully the good ones from the not so good ones. I think the last thing probably, I feel my age when I talk about my investing in Mika's company in 1998, but most VCs are in their 40s and 50s. So the start they last worked in was probably 15 years ago. The world has moved on a lot. You guys are working with a bunch of 20-somethings who know a lot more about how to build businesses today than we know. And so really, unless we've built a multi-billion-dollar business in your space, you guys know a lot more about what you're doing than we do. So again, take it with a pinch of salt.
Thanks, Toby. So just to summarize, I think for me, there are 3 steps to raising money. One is the pitch, which is the story, your business, all the facts, the data. That's very important. Obviously, we're getting all these pitches here. Number 2 is the process, and I could talk about the process for another presentation about like how you set it up, how you create urgency, how you think about which VCs you're going to go after, what timing you do it, what's the approach, all that. The process, I can't emphasize enough. It's very important to think through the process before you go out there and pitch. And the third one is my topic for today, which is the psychology. So the psychology, I encourage everyone to really think about like, how am I approaching this? What is the game I'm playing, and how am I going to do this? And the game may be like, I'm not going to play any game. I'm just going to go out there because I have a fantastic firm. Great. Just be aware that is what you're doing, and that's going to be received a certain way. So just be aware of the way you're being perceived, and that is the psychology of it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.